Hello everybody, my name is Kanamanika and welcome back to the unboxing, where today we're back on One Piece. One Piece time, yeah! One Piece time, yeah! Yeah. It's more One Piece for probably one of the more, I guess, for many unnecessary releases in the line, but I get why they're doing it to be, like, current or whatever. Today we are taking a look at, also, I think my, like, 5th or 6th Luffy figure, I'm losing track. Today we are taking a look at the SH Figuarts Egghead Island Monkey D. Luffy. Normally I wouldn't get this, and I wouldn't necessarily suggest you get this, but it was cheap, and I love Egghead so much. It's like one of my favorite One Piece arcs. I did a ranking of One Piece arcs on the second channel. If you want to check that out, it's a bad video, but it has takes. Anyways, I really enjoy Egghead Island. I really enjoy Luffy. Hell of a sentence. But yeah, this figure I'm pretty excited about. I'm not sure if it's going to be worth the wait, but it is one of the cheaper released figures, so I can't be too mad even if it does look fairly under-packed. Anyways, at the front of the box, as you can see, we've got a window to look into the figure with the name of the figure, Monkey D. Luffy, Future Egghead Island. As you can see, we see the figure, one face, and one hand, because this is a very lightly packed figure. It has one piece here in the corner with that map detailing going on in the background. We have two promotional images of the prototype of this figure. One with him doing an attack and one with him being like punching his hand into his, like that. Anyhow, down here it says SH Figuarts, Monkey D. Luffy, Future Island Egghead. Usual domain, designed by Tamashii Nations, made in China. Toei sticker, Tamashii Nations sticker, Bandai and Tamashii Nations. At the top, it has the SH Figuarts quote in a bit more of a hat-shaped cutout, as is usual for the One Piece line, with map detailing. At the bottom, Monkey D. Luffy, Egghead Island, with an image of Luffy. On this side, you see his two face plates that you get in the set, as well as Monkey D. Luffy, SH Figuarts. On this side, you get the Doom image of him being, like, doing a punch. Monkey D. Luffy, Future Island Egghead, SH Figuarts. On the back, you get all the promotional images, which include him running, him flying, him punching. You get an image of his two faces, as well as the fact that it is compatible with all of the faces from all of the previous Luffys, which I was a bit worried about, but it is compatible, so that's nice. This is the American release, so it has this sticker on it, so just keep that in mind. Simple style, heroic action. You generally know what you're getting into, so let's not waste too much time and open this box. And slide it out. You see everything the set comes with in this tray, which looks fairly nice, but it is, again, very sparse. It is only $35, but other $35 Luffys have had more, so it doesn't feel the greatest, but we'll get there. Anyhow, let's start with those accessories. So, starting off, we'll look at the hands. These are a little bit awkward to talk about because while they are basic hands, they are unique, they are these gloved type of hand. Let's get zoomed in a little bit. If the light will move, there we are. We have these sort of gripping hands of sort, which is neat. Yeah, a sort of like, I guess, like gripping hand, which I think is meant for that pose, if you see it. But yeah, they are nice and gloved. I do like the glove sculpting. It's pretty subtle, all things considered. But it is there, and it does give that glovey look. And then he also has a pair of splayed out hands. Yeah, splayed out hands. Once again, they do a nice job of portraying that gloved look without being, like, too overly obvious about it, and they just look nice. And then, accessory-wise, one of the cooler things that you get in this set, which you may want to get this set for if you have other Luffys, is you get a spare straw hat again. This goes around the neck rather than on top of the head. He doesn't have a headed straw hat because he wears the straw hat on the neck basically the entire time within this arc. It has its cuts. It's in a nice light tan. And it's nice to get another one for this figure. I already have a spare one from the Luffy accessory set, but if you didn't get that, you get one here. And finally, you get one more Luffy faceplate, which is this closed grin, which does look very good and a lot like Egghead Luffy, and I imagine this might also go well on your Onigashima Luffy, if you don't like that face print, since that one's one of the weaker ones out there. This might just slip well onto Onigashima Luffy. But now, suddenly, we're to the figure itself. Again, very small package. You're not getting a ton out of this figure. Anyhow, let's take a look at Egghead Island, Monkey D. Luffy, and yeah, I do like this look. He has this little bit that I guess goes between the legs and the skirt ing like piece, and then there's another one right here which I've got to pull out. There we are. And then yeah, let's get the hat on. I guess you need to remove his neck, so let's do that because I want the hat on. Oh right, yes, they have that. There we are. There we are. The hat seems to rest a little high. I wanted to get the hat on there, but he does have this sort of baggy hood because it's the Vegapunk sort of costume. I do like how these look. They're very fun. Fit that Future Island Egghead theming very well. But yeah, the face, if we look at it, is very similar to your typical Luffy that we've seen a lot of in this line already. It's a good smile. It's a good smiling expression that I think fits with the promotional Egghead art and like stuff that's on like the volume covers and shit very well. But yeah, it's nothing too crazy. Again, the hat does hang a little high, so you might not want to have it on him all the time. So just I guess keep that in mind, or try to tuck it better into the hood. Speaking of the hood, it is here. It doesn't seem to get in the way all too much. Like it's gonna get in the way probably, but like I'll do the figure without the hat for now at least. So let's get that off so we can get a better look at the figure itself, and then we'll slip the hat on in a little bit because he basically always wears the hat. Anyways, the torso has some very nice clean painting with that red and yellow with these little like white circly bits. It's a very simple design, but it's a very elegant kind of techie design that that is pulled off very well with the paint and sculpting on this figure. This lower area is a bit of a rubberier plastic. I think there's a little bit of rubbery plastic in this torso bit as well, and it doesn't always, like, I guess, layer off perfectly, but it works fine. The arms are also this nice baggy jacket, which does mean, unfortunately, you can't use any of the, alongside the legs, you can't really use any of the, Luffy accessories from the Luffy accessory set, which is unfortunate, but workable. And this side has this really nice sculpted and painted look for the Vegapunk logo. It kind of goes over the bicep swivel, so it like stays consistent, so that's neat. But otherwise, very simple sculpting. The legs, we brought up a little bit before, but under the skirt, you get basically what is the Raid on Onigashima Luffy's legs. The ones we saw before, except I think this time they do have the shifting sort of back of the pant. So if you want, you could also get this for your Raid on Onigashima Luffy and then swap out the legs. 163, SSG. Numbers are also very nicely done. They look nice and cartoony in an Otis style. And then the boots, I also really like. They're nice and big and bulky, and they have that sort of Mega Man-esque feeling, and I like the way these are sculpted with some nice subtle paint to them. It all works very well, and it's a very different look for Luffy, and I don't think anyone would recommend this as the first Luffy you should get. But it is there nonetheless. So let's take a look at that articulation. Again, we're doing this without the hat. The hat will limit the neck. He's able to look up about that far. He's able to look down very far, and he's able to have some tilt, though his hair and the jacket get in the way a little bit. Also, as a side note, the way you remove, from what I've seen, the different faceplates is you remove the front of the hair, then you remove this little earpiece, which covers up the ear, and then you remove the face, swap the face. It's a 3-part construction, which is a little annoying, but it works fine. Anyhow, torso seems to be on ball joint up here, ball joint down here, which allows him to arc back fairly well, but the rubbery plastic does get in the way a little bit. He's able to arc forward very well, which is nice to see, and he has pretty decent tiltage and like swivels and whatnot. Shoulders. These have been problematic for some people. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same in the US release. So just be careful of your shoulders. They work the exact same way as all of your other Luffys, though the jacket does get in the way of a full rotation. You should still be fine, though, as long as you know what you're doing. Yeah, they have like a hinge here and a hinge here, which allows you to do shit like that, but it's not really meant for that. There is a bicep swivel, as is expected. I think that's a single-jointed elbow, but it is able to get a decent amount of range. And then you have the usual SH Figuarts hand peg with the hinge, and then the swivels down at the base at the bottom and the top. Let's get that elbow moving. There we are. Legs. So these are going to be in the way, but they are a fairly flexible material, so they shouldn't get too much in the way of the usual hinge, and I'm pretty sure the hinges in these legs work the same. You will kick forward, though obviously limited a bit by the skirting. The knees feel a bit loose. You're able to kick outward, basically all the way. Kicking backward, I haven't checked. Also, basically all the way. It's a very good sculpt. And then you get your swivel down here past the shorts, which again, I think looks very nice. I know people get pissy, but he does have a thigh swivel. You guys are just annoyed about where the thigh swivel is. Anyhow, single jointed knee, which is able to get about there. There's a ball joint at the top of the boot, which allows it to rotate around. There's a hinge at this little bit, at this like thruster bit, so you can adjust it however you want for whatever pose you want. And then there's a ball joint here at the bottom, which then goes in junction with this one to help with your ankle tilt. So you get some good ankle tiltage. It's also able to go forward and backward, and I think it's swiveling as well. But yeah, I mean, it's Egghead Luffy. This is very much a release I don't think you need. I think I'd recommend you go for Romance Dawn Luffy, or even Raiden or Nagashima Luffy before you go for this one, given they're the same price, and those ones you do get more out of. But if you're a particular Egghead fan, this isn't that bad, really. It's just not like a top-of-the-list sort of Luffy item. But it is $35, so it's not the worst thing in the world to get. So yeah, I guess I recommend it well enough, but just know what you're getting into. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this little unboxing. I know it was a shorter one, but this figure doesn't really have a ton in it. If you did enjoy this video, do all the usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Let me know what other One Piece figures I should take a look at, and I will try my best. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye!